In 1986, a lot was happening in France. There was a great renewal going on with regard to founding new communities, new monasteries, and there was a hope that we could bring something of this over to Wales. There was a group of us involved, and the language was our own, Welsh. Actually, a foundation was made, T. Dewi Sant, the House of St. David, with the approval of the local bishop, the Welsh-speaking one who had actually confirmed me years previously. But alas, it didn't turn out well and it had to be closed. However, it was a moment of contact with the power of renewal in its fullness and its authenticity. At the time, they were opening about 2 monasteries a year, and there was a daring and a freshness in the air. One had access to power and glory, for beauty was created by a combination of the new and the old, the advantage being that it was harnessed by the bishops and indeed protected. One day at l'Abbaye Blanche, an old Cistercian monastery which they had taken over in Normandy, I was listening to témoignages that were being given, testimonies. It was miracle upon miracle, and of course they were being recorded by modern means, for they were young and fresh and had their own studio and all the equipment that was needed. A miracle is but a broken law, and yet, in juggling thus with these thy toys, thou dost sometimes some puzzle set before our troubled eyes. No work thy work destroys, but thou wouldst here twice work a single act, and in thy passing pass our thinking by. When madness lies in film and is called fact, when truth's cogs no more turn, but seem to cry, there is a hugeness in this worrying that doth bespeak a moving from afar. For in this crack a mighty, mighty thing hath travelled from a very distant star that we had thought long burnt. An ancient fire, and yet our hands were numbed at this live wire. Indeed, fire was the order of the day. We were involved with the publication and distribution of Feu et Lumière, and also Étincelle, fire and light, and for the little people, sparks. And they were these monthly expeditions or sendings out of the magazine, which went round the whole of France in the renewal, full of testimonies of miracles and all that the Lord himself was doing. It was the outpouring of Pentecost. One day we were gathered together and the new equipment was arriving from Paris, essentially a whole printing work in which to send off things, or rather not so much printing but actually packaging, and it was a big affair. And when we were gathered there, Sœur Catherine de la Bergère, Sister Catherine, who was the shepherdess, was giving witness of what had happened just the other night. The former superior of the house, therefore a Spiritan, had been there and had shared something that had happened when they had been there at l'Abbaye Blanche. They were coming out of Holy Mass as a community one day, and the sacristan, a nun, had gone into some kind of trance, and she'd been shown the future. It was curious in the context of what was arriving. She had seen a great fire, rays of fire, and she had been given to understand that from this place there would be a great radiation. Influence, therefore. And then she'd also been shown a lamb. The name of the community at the time was the community of the Lion of Judah and the slain lamb. The two elements, therefore, victory, the resurrection, the white, and brown, the brown scapular over it, the element of the victimhood. Later it was changed to the name that it exists under now, les Béatitudes. And it was interesting that at the time that she had this vision, there was no way that she could have known that the community with those two elements in the name would one day come there. But it was exciting, and it was interesting to see how things went wrong, because when, for instance, it came to getting these things hugely sent off, and therefore the packaging had to happen quickly, automatically, strangely and without reason, the brand new equipment would stop working at a certain point. And I remember the comment of one of the brothers. He said calmly, it was the man downstairs who wanted to frighten us. So they knew exactly how to handle him. They didn't take any notice whatsoever, and they calmly just did it manually, because one didn't play the game of the enemy, who just wanted to stop operations. Spiritual warfare, therefore. But there was power in the air. After hearing all this, I sat down and wrote this. There was a nun who saw this thing before, but it was kept well hid until this day. An ecstasy that opened wide the door of things to come, that have now come this way, was given to one so hidden, so obscure, that none e'er thought her more than what she seemed, 'neath wimpled ordinariness, secure from human gaze, that oft worth ill esteemed. For she did see what mine eyes now can see, but as it moves, not as it was to move. For in her raptured state of ecstasy, a fire she saw, and from it rays of love that would go far. And then a little lamb who bleats tonight. I saw that am the Lamb of God, the first and the last, has ever seen all time, and to show the future was no problem to our King.